Hey guys, today I'll be sharing with you how to create a simple mandala in Silhouette Studio. Although I have the business edition, it doesn't really matter. You're still going to be able to have access to the menus that I'll be using. Okay, so first you will create any shape that you like. Any of these, or you can start with some of the more basic shapes. I'm going to do a simple triangle. Okay, and nope, not that. Okay, I am going to make it smaller. And when I am doing these mandalas, I like to start at a larger point for my line. So I'm going to start with 2.5. So it can just be a little darker. So once you create the shape that you want, you would then move the center of rotation. This is the center of rotation. Wherever you put your center of rotation, that will be the center point of your replicated shapes or your circle of shapes. So I am going to move the center of rotation down some. If I put it too close, like up here, then my triangles may overlap, and I don't want them to overlap. I want some space between them. So I think that should be good enough. If not, we'll change it. Okay, so once you move your center of rotation wherever you like, we will then go to the replicate panel and then the advanced replicate tab. It's at this menu where you'll decide how many shapes that you want in your circle. And you can play around with this if you want, just to kind of get an idea of what you may like. But as a tip, what I like to do is I like to start with a certain number of copies, for instance, 12. And I would like 12 copies or 12 triangles in my circle of shapes. So when you enter your number of copies, you want to enter the total number that you want minus 1, because this original shape is going to stay. So you'll just need to enter 11 copies. When you know that you want 12 copies or you want 10 copies, you should divide that number by 360 degrees. 360 degrees is a full circle. So if you divide that number by the total number of your shapes by 360, you'll get an even distance between your shapes in that circle, which will make it look nicer, unless you're going for a different look. So 360 degrees divided by 12 is 30 degrees. So I'll enter 30 degrees here and then choose replicate. So here I like to go ahead and make my shapes a compound path so that I can work with it as one object. So next we will go to the offset panel or menu. This is where the fun really begins for creating these mandalas, because you will use various offsets and internal offsets at varying distances to bring your mandala to life, and there is no right or wrong way to do this. It's the possibilities are endless. Yeah, so I guess we'll start with a regular offset. When creating these, one of the things that I like to do is use the notes menu. I like to create a note to keep track of my offsets and internal offsets. This allows me to recreate the design as well as create a similar design based on the step or process of this particular mandala. So I guess we'll start with a regular offset to kick things off. Select the shape, select offset, and to be honest, I'll keep it right at this one, the 0.125. Here I'll select both shapes because we have the original shape, which is the original circle of triangles, and then we have the offset, which is the outline. We'll create another regular offset, but I'm going to change the distance. As you can see, the higher number, as far as distance wise, the further apart the lines become. Let's go with a point. All right, let's stop here, 0.305. Then let's create an internal offset. Also, as I create these different offsets, more than likely I end up decreasing my point line thickness, and that's because the more offsets or outlines or inner outlines, I guess, you do, the less you will be able to see because the lines are so thick. So I will just go ahead and do that now and just go down to 1.5 so we have more to work with. I always like to make almost each iteration of offsets or internal offsets a compound path to make it one object. And so that's what I just did. It was Control E. That allows you to create a compound path for a set of objects or a group of objects. For Mac users, I'm a Mac user as well. Right now I'm on my Windows computer. It'll be Command E. So we're gonna create an internal offset. And when you click on one of these, offset or internal offset, it automatically shows the default offset, but you still have an opportunity to change the line amount, the line distance. And sometimes if you want, you can move this. I tend to use only the arrows because, as you can see, if you go too far, you can't really see what happens with the lines. So I like to just use these arrows over here, the up and down arrows, to actually see what I like. We'll keep that. That time I didn't even pay attention to what the internal offset was. And we're gonna make this a compound path. And so you pretty much just do this off and on. You can also add additional shapes to this. And for that, like if you wanted to add some circles around this, you would just create your circle. If you want a perfect circle, you push the shift key and drag so it can be an even circle. Let me change this line to like 1.5. I'll make this smaller. Let's line this up so that it is in the middle of that shape. So since my triangles were total number 12, I'll make 12 smaller circles too. Now my center of rotation, when I use multiple shapes, I just duplicate this circle. I duplicate a circle, make it small. Let me actually make this a little bigger for you guys. Make it small. Maybe even smaller than that. Oh, that's too much. And I will center that circle right in the middle of the mandala that I have so far. So then it's easier for me to try to get in the dead center. I mean, you can do more, you can make it a lot smaller. Usually I do, but for the sake of this video, you can kind of get an idea, and you'll bring your center of rotation, you know, like right there over that circle. That way it'll go on the outside. So then we will go to our back to our replicate panel, advanced, same thing. We're gonna do 11, 30 degrees, and replicate. And with this, I'll just make the circles a compound path. And either you can group these or make this a compound path as well and use the offset with those together, or you can just start with the offset of these circles. So let's say we wanted to, let's keep the distance here and apply. Okay, we can group that, and using the outline of this circle, the larger circle, we can go ahead and do another offset. And if you want, you probably can go ahead and weld the larger circles to this, but we're not going to do that right now. Just want to show you guys, and then if you really like, you wanted to create this into just one big shape. So now you can make this thicker line. You can even and of course you don't have to leave it like that, but this is just, you know, just a simple design that you can do. It's so much more that you can do with this. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave me a comment, and hopefully you guys like this video.